So, if you're a closer right now and you're not consistently making 15, 20, 25, 30k a month, I want to tell you something, right? It's not your work ethic, it's not your leads, and it's definitely not the offer. It's your framework. And I can tell you exactly where it's breaking down. So, here's what your month probably looks like, right? Some months are good, you're dialed in, right? Calls are flowing, deals are closing, and you feel like you figured it out, right? Then the next month hits and everything falls apart. Deals that should have closed didn't. You got ghosted on follow-ups you thought were solid. You keep losing to the same objections like, let me think about it, I need to speak with my partner, it's not the right time. And here's the part that gets you. You know you're good at this. You know you've got the ability. You've had the months that prove it. But you can't figure out why you can't do it consistently. So you do what every closer does, right? You look for a better script, a new reframe for the objections, maybe another training, right? Another framework from someone on fucking YouTube, right? It helps a bit for a while. Then you're back in the same cycle. And I'm going to tell you something that took me a long time to figure out, and it's going to reframe everything you think you know about why you're stuck. The problem isn't your script, right? Most closers in this space were trained on, NEPQ or something very similar. And look, 5 years ago, that stuff worked wonders, right? When online programs were new, when people hadn't been on a high ticket sales call before, you could run word tracks and close deals. But here's what's happened. The market has changed. In 2026, your prospect has been on 10 of these calls, right? They know what's coming, they've heard. How does that make you feel? They've heard the takeaway calls. They've been asked about their dream life before you even know their name, right? And the moment you start sounding like every other rep they've spoken to, their guard goes up. And once that guard is up, you're not closing that deal. You're just attacking a brick wall and wondering why it won't move. So what do most closers do, right? They try to get better at the script, more objection handles, sharper tonality, right? Better pattern interrupts at the start of the call. None of that solves the real problem. Because the problem isn't what you're saying. It's that you've been taught to use techniques without understanding the human on the other end of the call. Techniques without human understanding is just manipulation. And people can feel it, even if they can't name what they're feeling. So before I was ever a closer, I was a magician and a mentalist, right? Mentalist is just a fancy way to describe like a mind reader, right? My entire career was built on one thing: understanding human behavior. Not the surface stuff, the real stuff. What makes people tick? How people reveal information without realizing they're doing it. Body language, micro expressions, language patterns that tell you exactly what's going on beneath the surface, right? That was my job, night after night, reading people, breaking patterns, getting strangers to trust me completely in a matter of seconds. When I transitioned into high-ticket closing, I realized something immediately. Every other closer was trying to learn scripts, word tracks, objection handles. They were trying to memorize the right things to say. I didn't need to do that because I'd spent years learning how to read people, not how to talk to them. And that changes everything. I break patterns. I use humor in ways that no other rep would dare. I confuse prospects deliberately because confusion drops the guard. When the guard drops, the real conversation starts. That's where the close happens, not in the objection handle, not in the close attempt, right? In that first 5 minutes when they decide whether to trust you or not, right? My close rate has consistently been over 80%. My best ever close rate was actually like 112.5%. It's not rare for me to close more deals than I take calls, right? I'm making consistently 20 to 30k a month doing this, not because I'm better at the script, but because I stopped using one. And I focus on reading the prospect's internal script. At the time of this recording, like this month, I've got a 100% close rate, right? And I've been able to help the offer that I work for go from 40k a month to over 450k a month, right? This is why I started all of this in the first place. To be able to build a life that allows me to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Like, I want to still be on top of my game, which is rare to see mentors out there that are actively closing, right? Because a lot of them were selling on offers 5 fucking years ago when the market was completely different. My priority is now making sure I get the best results for my students which is why I believe it's important to still be in the trenches with them and be up to date, right? When it comes to closing, because I need to practice what I preach. So what do I actually teach? Okay, let me break it down. So there's 3 things that separate closers who consistently do over 20K a month from closers that do, 5 to 10K. Part 1 is human behavior first. So before you can close anyone, you need to understand who they actually are. Not their service objections, their identity, their self-concept. The story they're telling themselves about why they can't make this decision, why they haven't been able to make it work, right? I can ask one question in the first 5 minutes of a call and know exactly how that call is going to go and what I need to do. Not because I've got a magic script, but because I know how to read the answer. Part 2 is pattern breaking, right? So the fastest way to lose a call is to confirm the prospect's existing expectation of what a sales rep sounds like, right? The moment you sound like every other closer they've spoken to, their guard goes up and it doesn't come back down. Pattern breaking is the art of doing something unexpected, right? Something real, something human, something that makes them think, I have never been on a call like this before. That's when they open up. That's when the real conversation starts. Part 3, internal script deconstruction. Every prospect comes onto a call with a script, an internal story about why they're not ready, why now isn't the right time, why they've been here before and it didn't work. Your job isn't to overcome that story with pressure tactics and all that sort of stuff. Your job is to help them see it, examine it, and rewrite it in real time on the call. When you do this properly, you don't get objections because the objection was the internal script and you've already dealt with it before they've even voiced it. And this is how, 90% of the calls that I close with 0 objections. I can literally count on one fucking hand the amount of times I've heard, let me think about it. Let me tell you about Charlie. Charlie was already a closer when she came to me. She wasn't a beginner. She'd been in high ticket sales for nearly 2 years, right? She knew how to sell. She was working hard, but she was stuck between 3 and 5K per month, right? And she couldn't figure out why. 1.5 years, 2 years of the same ceiling every single month. She'd been in 3 or 4 sales programs before me. All of them gave her the same thing: scripts, word tracks, objection handles, beating around the bush. None of them told her what was actually wrong. When Charlie joined my program, the first thing I did wasn't give her more scripts. I looked at her offer, moved her on to something that actually had the capacity for her to earn what she was worth, and then we got to work on really understanding humans in terms of herself, but also the ones that she's going to be speaking to. The framework, the human behavior approach, pattern breaking. In her first 3 weeks on a new offer, she made $14,000. She went from making on average 3 to 5K to $14,000 in 3 weeks. Not even a full month. And within the first 60 days of working with me, she had made $25,000 in commissions. Her close rate went up to over 70%. And this is what she said to me. I didn't say this. I never actually believed in myself. Now look at me. But here's what the numbers don't show. Charlie's dad isn't well. And before she broke through, she couldn't afford to see him. She was still asking him for money to make ends meet, a closer nearly 2 years in. Now she's flying out to see him every few weeks. She helped pay for his wedding, one of his last wishes, right? She went from having to ask her dad for help to giving him the peace of mind that his daughter is more than okay. Because that's the real cost of saying so. It's not just the money you're not making, it's what that money would have meant. And if you want the numbers behind that, as I said, Charlie, 25K in less than 60 days, the close rate went from inconsistent to over 70%. And the company she's working for flew her to Africa, fully paid because of the results she was producing. My own numbers, close over 6 million, right? Last year I made over $250,000, right? Consistently 20, 30K a month. Average of over 80% close rate. The difference between where you are and where Charlie is now isn't talent. She had the talent the whole time. It was the framework, focusing on the prospect's framework and the prospect script and not her own. And the courage to stop being uncomfortable, right? And then there's Inyan, right? Like Inyan is a different type of story. He'd never closed before, right? Never closed before, he'd been a setter, right? And I'm including this one because some of you watching this are closers who know deep down that you haven't fully cracked the foundations yet. You're earning, but you know something's missing. So Inyan came to me, right? Zero, as I said, zero closing experience. He'd only ever been a setter, but he was coachable, he implemented fast, and he didn't let his starting point become an excuse. First month, $8,000. By day 60, over $10,000. Starting from absolute fucking zero. The reason I mention Indian in this video aimed at closers is this. The framework can take someone from 0 to 10K in 60 days. Imagine what it can do for someone who already knows how to sell and just needs the right structure to unlock the next level. The difference between where you are right now and where Charlie and Indian are isn't talent. It's not hours, it's not luck, it's framework and the decision to stop being comfortable. So, if what I've just described sounds like what's been missing from your closing, then I want to get on a call with you. Not a generic strategy call, right? This will be, right? Not a sales pitch where I read from a script, right? I want to actually look at you. I want to actually look at what you're doing, identify where your specific ceiling is, and show you exactly what I'd fix first. Here's what I offer right now for a limited number of people, right? Free call review, right? If you want to work with me after the call review, that's up to you. I mean, if you don't, you're a bit fucking silly. But you send me a recording of one of your sales calls, right? We get on a call, right, and work through it together, and I'll tell you exactly where you're leaving money on the table. I'm not going to tell you my program is perfect for everyone. If I get on that call and I don't think I can move the needle for you, I'll tell you fucking straight. Members in my program as well have access to over 700 job opportunities a month, as I've hired the top recruiters in the space with access to the top offers. I've had many students get on the job offers purely because of the weight that my name holds in the industry, like Gershon. Right? He literally got an offer because he was getting trained by me. If you're a closer who knows they've got more in them, who knows the ability is there, but the consistency isn't, right? Then do what you tell your prospects to do and be willing to put in the work to fix it. If you're willing to do that, then I genuinely believe that what I teach will change your numbers. The link is below. Book the call. I review every application personally. You already know somewhat how to close. Let me show you how to do it at a level you didn't believe was available to you.